Hello, my name is Reginald Clark. I'm the CEO and Managing Partner for P3 Retirement and Tax Advisors. Today we'll be discussing a topic that is surprisingly not as clear as it should be to the general public. And that topic is simply, what should I do with my 401k when I separate service? When you do separate service with your 401k, you have a couple of different options available to you. Now let me stop and say that when we use the term 401k, we use it rather loosely. We're going to be discussing, that term will apply to any of your defined contribution plans, such as your 403b, an ESOP, or even a profit sharing plan. The number one option that I see most Americans choosing is by far the worst option, and that is the cash distribution. When you process a cash distribution, here's what's going to happen. First of all, you're going to get, if you're not 59 and a half, you're going to get hit with a 10% penalty. And also you'll have to pay taxes because keep in mind this money has never been taxed. So right off the bat, they're going to withhold 20% of the distribution from you. And depending on your income tax bracket, you may even pay additional taxes beyond that. I've often seen cases where people have ended up paying as much as 40% of their account balance by processing a cash distribution. Even if you feel you need some of the money, there's a better way to do it, and we'll discuss that option later. The second most common option I see people take is just leave the money where it is. A lot of times people will do this maybe because there's a false sense of security there, or maybe they just don't know what to do with it. However, let me say this. That's simply an illusion. Money that's left in the 401k is subject to the same market conditions as money that's held outside the 401k. A lot of times, again, it's just a case of simple misunderstanding and not really knowing what to do. But leaving the money where it is has a couple of negative connotations associated with it. First of all, you'll continue to be limited only to the investment options that your previous employer made available to you. That may not sound like a bad option, but when you consider the fact that you have access to over 10,000 different mutual funds in addition to stocks and bonds and other various investment instruments, that makes the 40 or 30 choices that you see inside your 401k seem rather limited. Secondly, there are administration charges and fees that are passed on to you inside the 401k that you're continuing to pay for, although you're no longer employed with the previous employer. And lastly, by leaving it with the former employer, you can't continue to contribute to the plan, thereby limiting the growth of the account. This option is very limiting to your progress. A less common option I see people that's actually starting to pick up some steam, I see people starting to take, is to roll the money into the 401k of the new employer. While this option isn't nearly as bad as the previous two, there are some limitations to it, mainly the ones I just discussed. Keep in mind, if you're going to go to the new employee's 401k, you're going to be limited by the investment options made available in that new plan. Again, it may not sound like a bad idea. However, you're going to start paying their administration fees on money that you didn't have to do that with. By opening yourself up to a much broader investment market, you have opportunity to take advantage of all types of financial instruments such as individual stocks, individual bonds, mutual funds. You can even put real estate inside of your own plan. These are definitely not going to be available to you inside of your new company's 401k plan. The best option, in my professional opinion, is to roll those assets into an individual retirement account. There are so many benefits for using an IRA. What an individual retirement account is most commonly referred to as an IRA. So many options for using this option. So many benefits, to using this option. And keep in mind, you also, I won't go into the particulars as to why on this particular clip, but you want to be sure to process a direct rollover as opposed to an indirect rollover. Setting up your own IRA is going to give you access to almost every financial instrument available to you. Together with your financial advisor, you can choose from, again, individual stocks, individual bonds, mutual funds, real estate, annuities, CDs. The gamut is wide open. And again, you won't see that flexibility inside a 401k. But of course, you want to give attention to, when you're choosing these investments, you want to give attention to things like your time horizon, your risk tolerance, and things of that nature, to be sure you choose investments that are right for you, because all investments have some risk associated with it. Setting up your own IRA will also allow you to continue to make contributions, thus giving your account a little more horsepower, helping it to grow. Should the need arise to use some of those funds, you can process a withdrawal and only pay taxes on the part that you withdraw as opposed to paying on the entire account balance as you would with a cash distribution. Processing a direct rollover is not difficult at all or a complicated task when working with an experienced financial advisor. It's certainly the best option for your 401k assets when you should you change jobs or separate service. We trust you've benefited from today's information, and we hope that you'll continue to plan, protect, and prosper. Be sure to look us up on the web at www.p3retirement.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you.